Hi, it's Tiffany Peterson with the Lighthouse Principles, and I am so excited to be joining my dear friend Gerald Rogers in hosting our upcoming event, The Best Year Yet. And we are so thrilled to bring to you some great content. I want to jump into some content here today of how you can build your best year yet and how you can create your best life, your optimal results. One of the things I just want to review with you that Gerald already exposed you to is this core module. And it's true when you think about, if I'm going to build my best life and my best results, my best year, there's some core synchronicities and the same core principles that will show up no matter who you study and what content that you're into. And I love this model where knowing, first of all, your soul purpose, that core life purpose, your belief systems, your psychology, your mindset, how your mindset is shaping everything that you're creating or not creating if you're avoiding it or holding back, because again, that psychology and that belief system may need some support and some development. Your energy level, your physical body, your physicality, your energy and the way that you're showing up in this life and the way that you're treating yourself and taking care of yourself or lack thereof, and that might be an area that we're going to address with you. Your systems, are your systems in place? Do your systems support your success? Are you in a space with whether it's time management and your systems of accounting, as well as systems that get into how you're running and moving your product or your business or your goals? Is there a system to how you're doing things, or is everything at random? And the one that I'm going to focus on today is the power of team. And the power of your relationships is that in this space, there's three things that, we'll just keep this right here. There's three things here that are critical that shape your current success and your future success. Your mindset, your skill set, and your environments. And when we talk today, heavily, your training today that is going to give you some valuable nuggets on two things within your environment. The power of your relationships, your support team, as well as who is in your network. But in other words, in that environment is your relationship. So I first want you to consider and think about who is on your support team. And when I say your support team, this could be your family, this could be your friends, this could be a coach or a mastermind group, but who is on your support team? Or is your support team looking a little bit lean, and maybe that's an area that needs to be beefed up? But one of the things, I've loved my experiences in studying from Jim Rohn, classic personal development teacher, and he teaches this following thought or phrase that you've probably heard multiple times, and that is that we become the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. So one thing I'd like you to do right now is take out a pen and piece of paper, and I want you to write down just as fast as you can the people that you spend the most time with. Now in your home, your friends, your business, this could be your clients, coworkers, people, your community, your neighborhood, friends, all types of relationships, who you're spending the most time with. So go ahead and capture that. Get those folks down in writing. Now what I'd like you to do is to go back and think through that list, and if you want a little more time, feel free to take it and pause the video, write out your full list, and when you're ready, unpause the video and we'll jump right in. But now what I'd like you to do is as you look through all of those people that are on that piece of paper, I want you to evaluate from this basis of this question, because see, all relationships will ebb and flow. That's the nature of a relationship. However, what I want you to consider is that the majority of the time, so as you look through those family members, as you look through those friends, those clients or coworkers, I want you to evaluate and again, trust your body, your intuition, as you ask this question. Does that relationship inspire me or expire me? If it inspires you, more often than not, again, the majority of the time, is that relationship positive and nourishing for you, supports your dreams, supports your goals, or more often than not, it's negative, it leaves you drained, what I call an energy vampire, right? So go through your list and identify more often than not, because again, it's normal to have, we're all human and you have different things influencing your physical health or your emotional well-being, and that all relationships will have some ebb and flow. That's very normal, very natural. I'm just asking you to look at the majority of the time, say 80% of the time, does that relationship inspire you and build you up? Or does it expire you, drain you, or bring you down? So go through your list now, again, and mark into a positive sign next to those that inspire you and nourish you, and just simply a negative sign next to those who bring you down or drain you. And what you're going to see is either a pattern of there's a lot of positive a lot of negative. You might be somewhere in the middle. But I'd like you to take, in thinking about creating your best life, is that we're 100% responsible for the quality of it. And that includes the quality of your relationships. We absolutely cannot control other people, but we can control first how we're showing up in those relationships. And we can control how much time and how much influence we share. Now, sometimes when I'm teaching this content in a live event, and hopefully you're going to join us in January so we can experience this live together, is we'll take some of this feedback where people will say, well, Tiffany, what happens if my mother's on that list and she's negative? Or what if that means, what does this mean? Well, technically nothing means anything except the meaning we give it. But what I'm just going to invite you to consider is that there may be some relationships that you want to spend consciously more time around. So you take accountability for nourishing that relationship, spending more time together. Or perhaps there are relationships that you're needing to spend less time with. And that's also your accountability as well, is that quality of that relationship. Now, one thing that I've learned for myself is that, like, for instance, I have an amazing husband, and he is such a rock for me and such a dear friend. And I've also learned that I can't expect my husband to be the end-all, it's like 8 personalities in one person, right? Is that there's a great, colorful need to have, different people serve different needs for you. And so realizing that there may be some people, like say your mom is on your negative list, or say someone in your home, or your boss or whatnot. And then you always have choices. Could you choose to eliminate that relationship altogether? You could. Although I agree with the thought that I'm not about let's eliminate people. It's just more about let's consciously build into who we want to spend more time with. One thing that I've learned, though, that's been very helpful is to realize that there are certain people that there's just topics I don't share with. And then there are some people that I absolutely would share those things with. So considering that for yourself is how you navigate this is entirely up to you. I'm not saying just because someone is negative on your list that means we immediately cut them out of your life. Now, you could choose that, and especially I invite you to really look at that if you consider that to be a toxic relationship. And that would be your own, self-journey to explore. But it's looking out more, again, if we're 100% responsible for our results and what we're creating, who are we choosing to spend time around? Because, again, we become the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. There's this interesting study that was done with these kids, different control studies in this school in Ohio, And these kids in these groups is that they would take these kids and look at the grade point averages of the 5 kids that each child was spending time with, looking at their immediate circle of friends. And if they added up and tallied those 5 GPAs together and divided it by 5, what was the average of your child's GPA? Same thing, thought process or studies been done with people that hang out with people in terms of income levels, socioeconomic status, and that you tally up the 5 people you spend the most time with, look at their income level, your income level, divide it by 5, it's probably going to be pretty similar to these folks. Now again, it's not to say that we're going to make judgments of our relationships based on how much money they make, because it's really about the quality do they bring to your life. It's just owning and becoming aware of who is in your life and becoming aware of who's on my support team. Now when it also comes to a support team, you'll hear me say over and over again that everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs support in terms of someone that's going to help push you and challenge you and help you take yourself to the next level. See, without a coach in place or without a mastermind group or accountability partner, but without that level of some accountability, we are all guilty or easy to fall prey to our emotions making our decisions, our emotions driving our commitment level versus the space that our commitment and our character helps us follow through. But having that support in place, that accountability. So thinking and asking yourself, do I have a coach? Do I have a mastermind group? Do I have an accountability partner? If you don't, get one. And be journaling out. Even as you're listening to this training, I'm assuming there are different people who come to your mind about who you'd like to mastermind with or who you'd like as an accountability partner or as a coach. There's various ways to do that in supporting and creating that relationship. But I think it's so important that you have that support team in place because as Robert Kiyosaki has said, as well as many others, he's not the only one, but I love when he trains and teaches this, is that I'll tell you where your life will be in a year from now based on 2 things. 1, the books you're reading, and the people you hang out with. And when you think about that, isn't that so true? Because the books you're reading leads to that mindset piece. And what kind of things are you stimulating your brain with? What are you putting consciously into your brain? As well as who are you consciously, and maybe it hasn't been very conscious, and now you're becoming more conscious. But who are you choosing to spend time around? And again, that power of choice that you can choose to nourish and support yourself by building into those great relationships. But we're very much all social creatures, and it's critical that you put in place people that support you, believe in you, they nourish your dreams, they cheer you on. Yes, sometimes a little tough love, that kick in the pants, if that's what you're needing as well, that coaching role and support to help you move forward, progress, stretch, and grow. That's the first part of your relationships. The second part I want you to consider in terms of building and creating your best year yet and your best life and results is also the question, who's in your network, right? Everything is about the power of who you're networking with, who you're connected with. And I'm going to invite you to make a decision, a simple decision, but a profound one. And that's this year, this season of your life, choose to become what I call a master connector. Instead of becoming, or the language some people just say a master networker, is a master connector. When you're the kind of person that people just love to spend time around, and you're connected and you're connecting other people, you will always have plenty of business, and you'll have a very rich and full life in every which way the word rich means. Is that it's always you've likely heard the phrase throughout your life of, it's not what you know, but who you know. It's so true. The power of who are you connecting with, and are you consciously growing that network? As it's often been said, that phrase, your network equals your net worth of who you're looking at. So if you want to increase your net worth and make more money this year, I assume for many of you that's a part of one of your goals to have your best year yet, is that are you actively nourishing your network? So thinking about that, who's in my network? Am I actively nourishing my network? And that again, we take responsibility for, let's actively grow and build your network. So obviously I want, of course, you to come to our 2-day event so you get that networking experience with other like-minded, success-minded people in that space. There'll be plenty of opportunities for you to connect, exchange information, get to know one another in a great, supportive, very kind and nourishing environment. So thinking about this with your network, when I think about some of the opportunities that I have and in my life and the business things that have transpired for me, corporate gigs that I'm speaking at, television programs that I'm contributing as a guest on, other opportunities when I think about my coaching and so forth, my business, so much of my business is simply word of mouth. In other words, networking, is that it's nourishing those relationships, showing up, being someone that provides value. See, dollars follow value. And so if you want to be someone that has plenty of opportunity and business, like many of you I know already are that are watching this, is that it's always how much more value can I bring forward? That I choose to become, again, it's a simple but profound decision to choose, to say, I choose to become or to be a master connector. Being someone that thrives in supporting other people, in connecting and putting other people together. But how do we, so if you're maybe saying, okay, well, how do I build my network? Because see, right now, like this visual is, let's say this is right here, this inner circle is your current network. And you might be saying, yeah, but there's other people out here on this network that I want to be connected with. Maybe it is a CEO of a company that you'd love to get in and do business with. Maybe it's the VP of programming on a popular television show that you'd like to connect with and do some things with. Whatever the example may be is always in how we build that network. Now from here, let me make sure I'm clear about one thing. When I talk about this, I mean it from a place of not just, when I talk about networking or connecting, it isn't just let me network and connect so it's all about me and what do I get from it, right? Because it's easy when we hear that word to think about I'm networking because it's about how can I benefit me and my business. Your benefits of your business and income and opportunities come from as almost like a side product of the kind of person that you are. Again, as I've mentioned Jim Rohn, one of the things that he teaches that I'm so wholeheartedly a fan of and believer in is that he says that becoming and getting are like Siamese twins. If you want more than what you've got, become more than who you are. And so when I talk about becoming a master networker or a master connector, It isn't just so, well, I'll go do that so I can get X. It's because when you're the kind of person that is focused on showing up to serve, showing up to connect other people, showing up to provide value, that's what I'm talking about. And then the side or byproduct is that, yeah, plenty of business opportunities, they find you. You don't have to go look for it necessarily because you're such in the space where you're actively building your network. So another assignment I'd like you to do, some valuable coaching tip right here, is if you want to pause the video, but I want you to identify and write down, 5 to 10 people that you'd like to spend more time with, that you may not know at all right now, you'd like an introduction, you'd like to nourish in your network, and then go back through and just trust your intuition and circle the 5 people that come up for you. And that you take on those 5 people, that whether you set up a lunch date or a cocoa or coffee date, or you send them a card or you reach out to them, but that you're going to take action on how you're actively nourishing those relationships. Because see, again, as our network creates that net worth, but when I think of net worth, I think of that net worth of my entire life, the value of that life, the value of those rich relationships, and yes, the value that also shows up in your bank account. I hope these tips have been extremely helpful and supportive for you and for your business and for your life and your goals. It's my deep pleasure and hope that you will join Gerald and I as we help you support to launching your best year yet coming up here in January of 2012 to help you create, again, the life that you deserve and the life that you desire. Thanks.